You missed some important news from the LGBTQ+ community this week. To ensure you are current, we are recapping that important news. Here's what you may have missed.
DeSantis says Britain and Kemi Badenoch are committed to following Florida's anti-LGBTQ+ lead. Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis has shed light on Tory Minister Kemi Badenoch's anti-woke mission, revealing that Badenoch committed to following Florida's lead in the UK. DeSantis spent April 28th in the UK on the last leg of his 4-country tour of Japan, Israel, and South Korea as part of an effort to boost his profile as a Republican presidential hopeful. In London, DeSantis met with Conservative Foreign Secretary James Cleverly and Business and Trade Secretary Kemi Badenoch, who also holds the title of Minister for Women and Equalities. Ironic. As part of his flying UK visit, he also headlined a private, high-profile event co-hosted with Lloyd's of London, where he delivered a speech to business chiefs that were dubbed horrendous and low wattage by attendees. In an interview with The Telegraph, published on Sunday, the Florida governor indulged in a bizarre rant about woke ideology and claimed that Badenoch not only complimented what we are doing in Florida, but is committed to doing the same in Britain. At no point in the interview did DeSantis define what did he mean by woke ideology. The Florida governor is known for his support for extreme anti-LGBTQ+ legislation, including the state's expanded Don't Say Gay law. LGBTQ+ rights group Equality Florida described the Don't Say Gay expansion as an insatiable lust for government censorship.
Dwyane Wade and Gabrielle Union leave Florida to protect their trans daughter, Zaya.
What do you have to say to some of those state legislators who maybe have your jersey in their closets, who came and brought their kids to your game to cheer for you?
Well, I think that's another reason why I don't live in this state. A lot of people don't know that. I have to make decisions for my family, not just personal individual decisions. I mean, obviously the taxes is great. Having Wade County is great. But my family would not be accepted or feel comfortable there. So that's one of the reasons why I don't live there.
NBA legend Dwyane Wade says he and his family moved away from Florida because of the recent wave of anti-LGBTQ+ laws being passed there, saying his family, quote, would not be accepted, end quote, in the state. During an interview on Showtime's Headliners, Wade explained to host Rachel Nichols that he doesn't live in Florida anymore because of the push from state lawmakers to implement anti-LGBTQ+ laws in the state. Wade, a 3-time NBA champion with the Miami Heat, is the father to 15-year-old Zaya Wade, who came out as transgender in 2020. Wade also told Nichols that he tries to follow his father in his own parenting philosophy, saying that he's just a mirror image of the way his father loved him and the way that he accepted not only Dwyane and his brothers, but other kids in the community that didn't have father figures. Florida state lawmakers and officials, including Governor Ron DeSantis, have pushed several anti-LGBTQ policies in recent years. Among them is the Parental Rights in Education law, better known as Don't Say Gay, which bans public school teachers from instructing students in kindergarten through 3rd grade on sexual orientation and gender identity.
Homosexuality is punishable by death in Saudi Arabia, but their tourist website says LGBTQ+ are welcome. Saudi Arabia, where homosexuality is punishable by death, now claims to welcome LGBTQ+ visitors, despite the country's horrific track record on LGBTQ+ rights and treatment of queer residents. The kingdom's tourist website, visitsaudi.com, has updated its official advice for LGBTQ+ travelers. The website's help section now asks, quote, are LGBT visitors welcome in Saudi Arabia, end quote. The response reads, quote, we don't ask anyone to disclose personal details and never have. Everyone is welcome to visit our country, end quote. Journalist Wajid Lyon, an openly gay Saudi who has asylum in the United States, tweeted, quote, It's very sad to see a country criminalize the LGBT community and welcome them at the same time. Welcoming international visitors who are LGBTQ+ is at odds with the kingdom's stance on LGBTQ+ rights for its residents, which are relatively non-existent. Saudi Arabia remains one of the few countries where homosexuality is punishable by the death penalty. In the kingdom, Sharia law also forbids cross-dressing. There are no anti-discrimination protections for queer people, and LGBTQ+ personnel are banned from serving openly in the military. LGBTQ+ activists and public figures have faced persecution, including lashings and imprisonment, for offering public morality by being LGBTQ+ publicly, such as in TikTok videos.
Indiana councilman mocks trans community. Quote, "I identify as a woman of color." Community members showed up in force at the Delaware County Council meeting Tuesday, and most who spoke were demanding Webb resign as a member of the council, following his declaration on Facebook earlier this month that he identifies as a woman of color. Charlize Jamison, a transgendered female, addressing the council saying, quote, "I know better. We all do. I know better because of his history of making hateful anti-trans statements on social media and disrespecting one's pronouns. He has purposefully and intentionally misgendered me. That is not something transgendered people do to one another." End of quote. She also went on to say that Webb was being disingenuous and his words embarrassed the county council too. Webb and the rest of the council sat silently as a parade of people addressed the elected officials, showing various degrees of disappointment and anger, each speaking for about 3 minutes as allowed by council rules. Students who demand action by Burris Laboratory School also spoke at the meeting. 6 students approached the podium and demanded Webb's resignation, with one student saying people like Webb make the process of figuring out who one is even more difficult. Later, Webb told the Star Press that the people who spoke against him had a right to voice their concerns, but he wishes they would step back and realize they are perpetuating hate, intolerance, and bigotry towards him.
University of Central Arkansas student jailed for Trans Lives Matter protest. A University of Central Arkansas student was sentenced to 10 days in jail for peacefully protesting a local school board's anti-trans policies. Alex Barnett, 20, was tried in Faulkner County District Court in December 2022 and convicted of criminal trespass and failure to disperse after pleading guilty to the charges. In addition to the 10-day sentence, which he has since served, Barnett was ordered to pay a $650 fine. Barnett's protest was in reaction to the Conway School Board introducing anti-trans policies. Barnett's story has recently received widespread attention after his case was reported on by Judd Legum for his Substack, Popular Information. In October 2022, the Conway School Board voted to implement new regulations that force students to use bathrooms that align with their sex assigned at birth. In November 2022, Barnett organized a group of 20 University of Central Arkansas students to attend a Conway School Board meeting and speak out against the new policies. The group began chanting "Trans Lives Matter." The police told them to leave, and all but Barnett, Kaylin Botley, and Colburn Clark dispersed. They were arrested shortly after. Botley took a plea deal and paid a fine of $450 with no jail time, while Barnett chose not to take a plea deal, as he felt he hadn't done anything wrong, and no, he did not.
Keep watching the only television news in the world from our LGBTQ+ community, and stay informed on everything that is important for and about our diverse LGBTQ+ community.